we have to create the right vibe, the energy, and everybody at the organization has to feel so privileged to be here. It's no other way.
Thanks for listening to the Purely Arsenal podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at Purely Arsenal FP for all the latest Arsenal podcasts.
Welcome to another episode of a Purely Arsenal sit-down podcast. We're here. Merry Christmas. We're winning again, but we've got a lot to discuss. A little bit of a nail-biter again, 2-1 against Brighton. Obviously through to the semi-finals of the League Cup as well. Looking ahead to Aston Villa on Tuesday. Neil Shah's with me. How you doing, Neil?
Hey, Merry Christmas all. Thank you for having me back. And looking forward to this, but frustration at the moment in our last few games. A lot of frustration, but hey-ho, we're getting there. Scraping results somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. James Johnstone to discuss it as well. How are you, James?
Yeah, good to be back. Good to be back with Neil as well. So, happy and hope everyone had a good Christmas. And, just like I got into my Christmas dinner, I'm guessing we'll tuck into this as well. Yeah,
another massive game weekend where we it's an odd one. You win, you should be happy winning. I don't remember having this sort of consistency of winning and, all of us sort of being quite frustrated and, I don't know, a combination of frustration and relief and irritated, annoyance, all these things culminating into one, but you're winning. So it's something to discuss. But obviously, City had won before away at Forest. In many ways, their game was a lot less convincing than our one, which is really odd to speak about, isn't it? If you watch that game and you watch ours as a neutral, you could, I don't think many people will, but you could look at it and go, actually, they weren't that convincing in that game, City, for me. They could have lost it. They could have gone down to 10 men. They could have definitely lost the 3 points. Scored in the 85th, I think, to win it. Ours, 2-0 up for a long period, bashing them in terms of XG and chances, and then it ends up feeling really tetchy at the end, and Brayer's pulling off world-class saves. It's a really weird one to judge. I'll go to James first because of the lineup, and there's so many questions before the game even starts with Arsenal because it's like a merry-go-round. I mean, it's just like a revolving door. It's unbelievable. The only team that you can talk about in the warm-up is Arsenal. I do find it a little weird that no one spotted what Calafiori did in the warm-up. As far as I'm aware, there's been no video or link to what Calafiori ran down the tunnel for and felt, but it's never a good sign when your players going off in the warm-up, coming off. So we had to re-establish that. Timber was in the hotel, but again wasn't in the squad at all. So both our fullbacks are out, and we had no idea what formation we were playing, let alone who was playing where and whatnot. It ended up being Declan Rice at right back. James, I guess I can't really discuss the lineup as what we've set out. I just got to sort of premise it with the injuries again, a huge factor. And we've talked a lot about injuries and the reasons for them. I guess we don't want to go down that path again. But the clear thing is we've not solved the issue when it comes to injuries. If anything, it's got worse because we're losing more than we're getting back. And now we're losing really key personnel for the season, and our whole back four is becoming makeshift. I don't know if you've got any sort of feeling on it, but it doesn't sound like Calafiori is going to be long-term, but at the same time, you feel something in the warm-up. It's not going to be a couple of days, not going to be back from Villa. There's some optimism around Timber, but again, we don't really know what's going on. And I do think the manager has to take a bit of responsibility with these two, because he knew about Calafiori a day before it, allegedly. No, actually, not allegedly, he said so. And with Timber, I think he should have rested. I know we won in midweek and it was closer than it should have been, but I think that's one that you had to find a way to rest in midweek, in my opinion, because he's just been overplayed and overburdened, and we really don't have any replacement for him at the moment. But what are your thoughts, James, on the lineup? And the fact that Declan Rice took his place and probably was man of the match was incredible.
Yeah. Declan Rice just, going on the positive side there first and then moving on to the negative. Declan Rice showed which he normally does. You can slot him wherever you want to slot him and he will do a job for you. He's another one, though, where at the moment, looking at his minutes, Jack, and looking at how much he is providing for this team, going up and down every game. Yeah, if he, again, we spoke about it the other day about single points of failure or what have you. If he does go down, Declan Rice, there is nobody in this squad at all that can replicate what that man can do. So that's one that you want to be monitoring and looking at, hopefully. Fingers crossed nothing happens there. And yeah, with the others, look, it's still early. It's early Monday for me and Neil at the moment, and it's late Sunday for you. In a few hours' time, the Oracle, Mr. Riddles himself, Mikel, will be doing his press conference, and we will we will see what will happen. Will he come out and say, "Yeah, Timber's fit or Calafiori's fit," or will he say, I have a bank and a bed. What am I? I'm a river. The guy talks in riddle. You just don't know what you're going to get with a guy. So we shall wait and see. He's not direct. He still does this whole 4D, 5D chess, which is ridiculous. It's like just give a definitive answer to a question. Is he fit? Can he play? Yes or no? You don't even have to hint at what your lineup's going to be. Just tell us: is he fit? Is he not fit, Mikel? That's all we need to know.
What's the body part?
Yeah, and this matter of days that was for Ben White, that's become nearly 14 to 21 days. So. I'd hate him if he was my delivery man. When am I going to get my parcel, Mikel? Oh, a matter of days. It's 3-4 weeks later. Where's my parcel? Well, a matter of days.
Cancelling my Prime with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount that you said. Let's not get into it. We all know the reasons why, and. It's finding the solutions. I mean, like you said, Calafiori goes down the tunnel. We get the tweets from certain journalists and what have you that are in and around the club as well as fans within the stadium. They then say that Norgard goes in and Hincapié is playing as a left back. And all of a sudden, Norgard's not in it at all. And Marcelo Skelly comes out and you're like, well, hang on a sec. I'm like, even you lot don't know what's going on, and you're meant to be closer to it than I am. I'm like, you. Not only are you there, but you're the people that the club pay to get stuff out, and yet you don't even know what's happening. So, yeah, I mean, for something that supposedly looked thrown together, again, it was a second game in a row, I believe, that. From a first half, you reduce a team to 0 XG and 0 shots. So, it weren't that bad. So,
oh no, I mean, I have to say, with the mismatch, let's be honest, Neil, going into the game, with that kind of change within an hour or two of the game, the Timber and the Calafiori and no idea who's playing in the defence, and apparently we were lining up Zubimendi at right back in the warm-up and then we switched it to Rice. Maybe that was a bit of, gamesmanship from Mikel, or maybe it wasn't, and maybe he made a change last minute. I mean, it really was, as much as I get frustrated with Mikel Arteta for the injuries, and I think he bears some of the responsibility, at the same time, he's clearly not doing it on purpose, and it must be absolutely infuriating to himself, being such an intelligent sort of manager himself, which I do believe he is, to be like, how am I losing so many players? How am I having to adjust to this? Do you remember when we used to say if he lost one player, this was a few years ago, we were done. This game's done. There's no way. And he, to be fair, he's really adapted well to that, because what he's had to deal with is, I think it's actually. I don't think there's really any premise for it. I don't think exactly. That's the word, unprecedented, especially for someone at the top. We might have said this about us or Liverpool, and you'd be sitting in 6th, 7th, 8th. But the fact that you're at the top and doing it, that is, I have to say, that is really impressive. And I sort of am on two sides of it. I'm so frustrated with him because you've not, again, more injuries coming through you and the lack of transparency and this, that, and the other. And I do think he bears some responsibility for it. You have to, as the manager, surely you do. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you are handling it really well. Because like you said, James, we went into this game, I was like so nervous when that lineup was set. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know who's playing where and what. And Brighton are a dangerous team, let's be honest. They're not just, coming up sort of against a bottom 3 team or something like that. They play some good football, Brighton. And Hertzler loved playing against us, and we had an unbelievable first half performance, even with the frustrations. We really did. Everything looked really, really good. It was one of our best performances, I think, other than putting the ball in the back of the net. And Neil, I mean, it went from the first minute, didn't it? I mean, first second, we had a huge chance to Gyökeres. And I think that's probably where we should start, because the finishing, not just from him, but from across the board, was really, really poor. And I guess that kind of set, I mean, we say it set the tone because we had a great finish 10 minutes later from Odegaard, but it kind of set the tone for chances that we should be doing a lot more with, you know. And it was a great ball from Trossard, and I think he's the one player that you can notice that's really got an idea for what Gyökeres is looking for. But at the same time, you've got to do better there, haven't you? You've got to do better. It's a really big chance, and maybe it came too early for him. I don't know. But it's a poor finish, and it sort of epitomised a lot of the game, Neil, didn't it?
Yeah, it kind of set the tone, didn't it, for the whole game? Right from the off, right till the end, where Saka has that chance, which I thought, yeah, he may be tired, but he should be doing a lot better when he was 1-on-1 with the keeper, literally at the end, at the death. And then you had that Martinelli miss, and oh god, there were so many. That Saka, you'd think that he would be trying to find a player, and he's trying to just go all away himself, which has been a bit of a common theme with him too lately. Where I've always applauded selfishness in your attackers, because I think we've gone through a whole, I'd say, era of not being selfish and losing out, looking for that extra touch, either by trying to walk the ball in the net, which is kind of almost a hangover from Wenger days, where you just want to play total football, or whatever it might be, where you're just trying to find that second or third, or another touch where it just loses momentum, and by that time the defenders are either in position or they've managed to make a tackle. And then now all of a sudden we've gone from that extreme to another with Saka, who just seems to want to do everything himself. And there were so many times where you think, lay it off. There's another player there. Look up. And he almost became what Martinelli was doing. Do you remember when he was like head down and I'm just like narrow vision, and that's it. I'm going to go for goal. And I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. He just seems to have. He's not the Saka of old before the injury, where he was so reliable. We were always talking about numbers, weren't we, James? Especially, it's like, yeah, but he's getting the numbers. And I'm not saying he's still not quite doing that, but you don't have the confidence in him as much as maybe we used to, especially when you needed a goal. But Gyökeres, as I know everyone gets annoyed the way I say it, but that's my little tweak on people's names. I do it to a lot of players. I thought, yeah, I mean, he had that chance from Trossard right at the start, and you think, that's lame, mate. You've got to do better than that. And you're one of the players that can really put the leather or the lace through the ball. You can really smack a ball hard, because we saw it later on, I think in the second half, where this is where I feel a bit sorry for him, and this is what players like Odegaard should be doing. But Odegaard played a nice ball. He was behind the defenders, and he laid a nice one onto to Gyökeres, and he smashes it. I don't know whether he hit the post or the goalkeeper or just hit the side netting. But, so he's got the ability to hit the ball with power. Why didn't he do that right from the start? Because if we'd got that, if that had connected and if that had gone in, within the first minute or so, I mean, it would have really given the confidence to our players, and we could have created a cricket score. But we just couldn't, and that just set the tone. All the players, that Martinelli miss. I mean, all right, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but it just set the theme. Martinelli, I mean, come on, you've been doing really well lately. I know you've been doing better in the Champions League, but a player of his ability, you've got to keep the ball low, and you found that's all you needed to do, and it's at the back of the net, and it's so frustrating. We are controlling games, as you said. We are creating chances. You guys were talking before we started recording that 12 chances in the first half against Palace or whatever it was, and it's up there in the teens almost. So it's not about creativity or lack thereof. It is just the finishing, and it's a worry, because you remember when we were talking about our transfers in the summer, and we were saying, "Wow, look at our forward attack now," and we were kind of a little bit surprised that we'd kept both of Martinelli and Trossard. As it transpired, we were glad we did. And then we had all these options. I have to say the injuries are just as frustrating, if not more so. And it's an unsustainable model, but you're right. Somehow Arteta is coping with it. I don't know how. He first did it with the attack. Now he's having to do the same with the defence. And he's done equally well with both, to be fair to him. So give him credit where credit's due there, and a round of applause. But surely you can't sustain this model. We've still got half a season left, guys. We've still got the FA Cup. We haven't even begun the FA Cup yet. Don't forget that. We've got the League Cup. We're in the semi-final. We've got Champions League. We can't sustain this model. Something has got to be done with this injury issue, whether it be the training or the physios or the training ground itself. I don't know. I've said this before, there has to be some investigation into this, because it can't all be because of what's happening on the pitch during play. There's something more to it. Players being run into the ground, yeah, that's one thing, but I think it's more than just that. There's something not right. But yeah, look, we're top. We're top. I don't know how, but we are. So let's celebrate that at least.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, we had our most touches in the box in this game, James, out of the whole league, the whole season so far. 52 touches in the box. Overall this season, you remember early in the season where we argued that, our chance creation was down, and that was actually an argument for, and I actually agreed with it at the time, for Gyökeres. We've got to find Gyökeres. We're not getting him on the ball enough, not getting enough chances to him. We're second in the league for big chances created. We're first for big chances conceded. We've conceded 13, and the next team up is Newcastle, who are in the bottom half, I think, and they've conceded 23. So we're 13. City have conceded 27 big chances. So our big chance differential is 30, right? I mean, I'm just saying this because there was an argument earlier in the season that we weren't getting in the position we owe. 25 shots in this game, and for me, like you said, I think Martinelli's probably the most gilt-edged chance in a way, and I was very frustrated with Saka, but at the same time, James, in the first half, Gyökeres had that one, and he had a couple of others. The header that me and you talked about, where it was very scrappy towards the end of the half, and he just airballs it, completely misses it. And then you had that looping one as well from Declan Rice. I don't think it's a great chance, but it's half a chance, and he misjudges the timing of it, and it comes off his chest and rolls down his body. My issue with and I don't really want to make it about Gyökeres, because I do think, like you said, James, offline, it is the collective. But my issue specifically with that position when Gyökeres is there is I think we're getting so much there now around him. And like I said, 52 touches in the box, etc. He had 18 touches in this game. And I think as the game wore on, I saw a reluctance from the team to give him the ball. And I don't like that. Because I don't like that from both sides. I see why they're doing it, because I'm not as confident with him, keeping the ball if you play it up to him. But the other reason is that's not conducive to an environment that's really going to get you a lot of goals. You can't have your centre forward not being willing to give the ball on him, play a wall pass off him, and things like that. And I don't think that was a good sign. But maybe that was just me. But in the second half, I felt that there was this weight on me, and I was like, get him off, because we're not actually giving him the ball anymore, and we're not playing him in. And I think maybe some of the first half misses. And, some of his ability on the ball with his back to goal and things like that is playing into it. But I don't know what your thoughts, James.
Yeah. No. Look, everyone knows what I think about Victor Gyökeres. So, but, and like I've said it the last couple of weeks as well, he's not helping himself. He isn't. You make a great point there. First minute and a half of the game, and Neil made a great point as well when he was speaking about it. Leandro Trossard, first time, by the way, to hit that ball into him on the first time, that's a skill in itself. So fair play to Trossard for that. Not many players in the club could do that just on their first touch and scoop and find a pass like that. But this is a man that, against Everton, gets given, I don't want to say a sympathy penalty, but they give him it because he needs a goal. He needs the confidence. And boy, oh boy, did he take that penalty. We spoke about it last week. He hit that penalty like it owed him money, didn't he? He really hit that penalty. He gets subbed off in that game, and then he doesn't play midweek. So he is the freshest of all of that front line going into that game at the weekend. And within the first minute and a half, it's two errors. It's the first error by Dunk to allow him round him. And then it's another error from the goalkeeper, the way he's positioning. And like you've said there, Neil, can you smash that ball? And all of us at home are going, yes, he can, yes, he can, yes, he can. To come out with a finish like that, I'm like, that finish indicated to me tiredness and lack of confidence. But I'm like, well, you shouldn't be tired. And you shouldn't have a lack of confidence, because you scored, regardless if it was a penalty or not, you scored in your last game. So I think he's overthinking things. I really do. I think he's thinking too much about things. And then, for the rest of the half, like you said, Jack, a lot of his problems, again, and this is where you say about I don't think they trust him, majority of our forward line, and we said this a few podcasts back as well, the majority of our forward line, other than Trossard and maybe Eze, who found him best because they've played with players that are similar to him. The rest of them play with people that have elite movement in the box. Odegaard, when he goes away with Norway, who does he play with up top? Erling. Saka, he's had Aubameyang, he's had Havertz, he's had Harry Kane, and he has Ollie Watkins when he goes with England if Harry Kane doesn't play. All of them have elite level movement in the box. This guy, for me, like Thierry Henry when he all them years ago and he went to Arsene Wenger, they don't pass to me, boss. And Wenger went to him, can they see you? And he said he watched, and then he was just like, oh, Lundberg likes me coming shorter and going this way. Pires likes me over here. Dennis, if I make that run there. I'm like, I think Gyökeres has to sit down and really, not necessarily, maybe talk to them, but also have a bit of collector. I mean, they've got more video and everything than we could ever imagine. And he's just got to think, right, when he gets to there, can I be, because there was one of them, and it's the one I kept bringing up in the WhatsApp as well. He thinks that Bukayo Saka is going to play like a Kevin De Bruyne-esque fit. And those are passes that, and I love Bukayo Saka, but they're passes that Bukayo Saka's never made in his life. He's never made these killer through balls like that. That's not his game. But he hangs and hangs on that near post. And you looked at it, and you make the point there, Neil, as well. Martinelli's miss at the end. Saka found him because Martinelli has that elite level box movement to go, I'm going to go round my defender and go to the middle of the box and get my shot off. Gyökeres had about two of them in the first half where it was just like, go round him. Why are you there waiting?
Yeah.
Go round.
That's striker's movement, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and it's not a case of that he's too clunky or he's too slow. You don't have to have pace there. It's simply standing in the right place.
Yeah.
I don't have elite level pace. I get tired grating cheese. But I know that if I stand there, the ball's going to come into me and I might be able to get a shot away. And that's me. I'm not an athlete. But that's just, I know it's just standing in the right places. But for whatever reason, he seems to he has that tendency, like I said, to want to hang off that near post. And I'm like, well, not only is that ball never coming, but you're so predictable to read because that's all you ever do.
Yeah.
So
I think that, James, that is brilliant. I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Just want to add as well, I'm wondering, this thing about trying too hard is evident, I think, with him, because obviously he's got that pressure on his head. And you're right about the fact that he was given that sympathy penalty. Maybe I'm being unkind saying sympathy, but I think we did that with Kai. And it kind of set him off, didn't it? And God, people were complaining at Kai at the time, and Kai was banging them in. I'm like, what? This is where you can't take things for granted in life. You had that with Kai, and then he started doing what he was doing, which I thought was very impressive at the time. But anyway, that's another story. I just think, is he trying too hard? But also this thing about, I mentioned about him not being, he's got to be a bit more aggressive and a bit more vocal. There is that. But I don't know if it's me, but I don't know if you guys, when you look at him, I don't think he's happy. I actually don't think he's happy. Now, it could be just his face. It could be a very kind of monotone kind of, but his body language, everything about him within, with the group of players, is he settled? Is he happy? I don't know.
Because he's not scoring, though.
I think.
Be. Oh, no, absolutely agree with that. I mean, it could be if he starts banging them in. But just generally, I mean, even that time when he, when he did get back a couple of goals, who was that against when he scored a brace? And we thought,
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. I don't know. The way the other players are at the end of the match and everything, and sometimes I look at him and I think, are you with the squad? Are you together? Are you? As I said, it could just be a personality thing. He just might be like that. He might be a bit more robotic. But I don't know. But I think definitely where I should see, or all of us should see more of him, is I think he should be a bit more nasty. And he's not. He needs to be nasty. You have to be nasty as a centre forward, in my opinion. You have to have that little bit of thing about you where all the opposition fans hate you. The way we hate Haaland, or dislike Haaland, maybe hate's a bit of a harsh word. The way I used to detest Drogba, all these top, even Kane, the way all these things, oh God, they're going to score against us. Oh God, they're going to score against us. I don't know if opposition fans get that with Gyökeres, that, oh God, he's going to score against us. That's the kind of persona he's got to build. And I think he can only do that by becoming a bit more nasty and yeah, James, what you said is perfect. All of that, all the technical stuff, all the play is so important. It's the most important thing. But just that aggression as well, I think. But yeah. I don't know.
The thing is, Neil, he was so overly aggressive in Portugal and he dominated. Look at the score. He dominated that league. He was the main man and he was an absolute physical powerhouse. Well, now he's coming into the Premier League and every attribute that made him the man in Portugal and the top goal scorer in the whole of Europe is gone. Because these centre-backs in the Premier League, they just go, bosh. They just bash it back. And he's gone, shit. So it's like now, not only am I adjusting to a new country, to new teammates, and everything else, and I'm the main man. I'm their one that they've said this is he can finish. This is what's gonna get us over the line and win us a league. But it's like he's gone from being the main guy to you are now part of something, and I don't think he can adjust to not being a main man. I think
it's coming as well, James.
Trouble.
That's the thing. I mean, I think I sent you a message earlier in the week, and I think I said something like that. His time has to be now, because it does have to be now. Even the pessimist in me, Kai Havertz is back in training. Gabriel Jesus, whatever we say about him, he's right there. He's right there. He had a decent performance in midweek, I think, for a first game back after an ACL tear, 11 months out, first start. I thought he was decent for me. He had a couple of chances with his head. He was good on the ball. He held things stuck to him a little bit more. He was involved in a lot of the attacks. And I think, I don't know if he has a decision to make in midweek. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe he just starts Gyökeres. But there might be. And that's, when he makes that decision, I don't want to say there's no going back from it, but he's going to have to really look at that, because when I think we know Kai Havertz is our number one. So if he's ever fit, we can't say he is, because he's not been fit since February. So it's not really fair on Gyökeres or anyone to say that. But if he's fit, I think Kai Havertz just walks back in, to be honest. But there's this other layer to the team, because Kai Havertz, even if he does, he's not going to be playing to the minute level that he was previously. I mean, it would be negligent to do that. So there's a lot of minutes there to be taken. But I think he might be looking over his shoulder and seeing Gabriel Jesus and going, this guy looks pretty ready to me. He's got a World Cup coming up, and it's his last opportunity to be at a World Cup, because Gabriel Jesus will not be going to a World Cup for Brazil when he's 32. And Gabriel Jesus, what do you think he's doing? I bet you he's sitting there and going, oh, who's the number 9 for Brazil? Is it R9, is it? Oh no, it's for Charlison. It's for Charlison, is it? And Joao Pedro. Yeah, I'll put my boots on, boys. Yeah, I'll back out. See you later. So do you see what I mean? There's this moment here that we might be missing, and I don't think we should be looking at it, because I don't think we should be in a predicament where Jesus should really be having this opportunity. I didn't believe it was going to be. But the fact is, it is there, and he is probably looking at that going, I'm ready, Mikel. And I just wonder if he's, I don't know, I go back and forth with it, whether he would do it on Tuesday, but I don't think it's completely out of, I don't think it'd be a complete shock, would it, to us if he did do it. And that's got to be a weighing on Gyökeres as well, but to be like, I've got to do it now. I've got to find my form now. I was more annoyed with the way he reacted after that chance, to be honest. I'd be smashing my hands on the ground, and he kind of acted like, all right. And I was like, that is a massive chance. That is huge. Okay, I just sat down to watch it. But for you, that is a huge chance, man. That is a massive chance. And I just thought, like you said, he's a killer in Portugal. I'd have been like, oh my gosh, what did I do there? And he was just like,
This is what I'm talking about, the aggression. And the
passion, the nastiness,
You look at the other side of the picture. When they scored their goal, look at Saliba's reaction. He's disgusted with himself, with his teammates, right? I want to see that from our strikers. And you're right, nothing. And this is what I was talking about. I know you guys can talk all the great stuff about all the technical stuff, and it's spot on. What James said was brilliant. But I think also looking at your mindset, you've got to be more aggressive. You've got to be nasty. And I'm not seeing it. And I'm not saying it's trying to defend him, but I think coming new into this league or coming back to the English setup, but being a completely new component in Arteta's setup here in Arsenal, I think he did get, you've mentioned it, I think, Jack, right at the top of the season when Kai was injured. I think that was a little bit unfortunate for Gyökeres, because all the pressure was straight immediately on him. See, if Kai had been fit and they'd been exchanging the two of them, I'm not saying it would have changed anything. I'm not saying then Kai would be back in 3 or 4. But it may have eased him in. They may have helped his transition. The fact that he was just you're it, right from day dot, I think maybe curtailed him slightly. But it doesn't excuse the fact that that doesn't mean you can't be aggressive. That doesn't mean you can't have the reaction that you were just there looking for, Jack. It was almost as if, oh, damn it, you should have been really peed off with it. Nothing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. Is he happy there? I don't know. I might be talking rubbish, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And Neil, you make a great point, like you did the other show as well. There's a moment in this where he has a header and he doesn't do great himself, but it's because Saliba jumps at again, like we said, when you said about Timber doing it 2 or 3 times, just yell at him, be like, no, or, my ball or something, but he doesn't. He doesn't, because it keeps happening. So it's clear that he doesn't make that call.
And I don't think the players have confidence in him.
Well, that's it. Even if he does, they don't leave it anyway.
Right. If he's going like this,
isn't it?
You know what it's like, Jack. If you're banging in goals every week, you can basically do what you want. You can demand it. You can have a little tantrum. You can have this. Henri did. He walked on water, didn't he? But when you're not doing it, especially when there's other options as well, it's not like he's our only choice. The players are going to be looking at that, and they're going to be going. And I felt that. This was the first time to me I'd felt that. I was like, I think we're moving away from him. I think we're purposely playing the ball away from him. And I was like, I don't like this. And that's where I think we had that moment in the second half where we had that sort of 15-20 minute spell where we allowed them to come back into it and things like that. And then, and I was like, I think we're playing as 3 up there, not 4. And it was frustrating to me. I was like, I don't like this. Just get him off if you're going to do that. And it's frustrating. It was really interesting. He's got to get it right. He's got to figure that out. What is the option? I personally don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because and maybe we don't have the perfect solution. And maybe this builds into the frustration a lot of Arsenal fans is that, you see City with Haaland and he's there every week. He's always fit. He's always, not only is he always efficient, he's always fit, and they have something like that, and we have this area where we're not really sure. We've got our starting number 9 who can't get him back fit. One's coming back from an ACL tear, and another we've bought that has, like you said, hasn't settled, and it feels very unpredictable, and that's not normal for Mikel Arteta and his team. You've got to solidify that by, I think. Well, really, now's the time. I think now's the time. You've got to, once it gets January, you've got to be knowing what your hierarchy is there in a way, I think. And I think it could be either way at the moment. We don't know. Everyone's, in a way, it's good. Everyone's playing for their position. But like you said, for him, that's a nervy moment, I think, because it's not like it was earlier in the season where there was no one else to rotate with you. You're playing every 90 minutes, mate, because you're all we got. And then it changed, and now it's not quite like that. But then we had a great goal. I mean, a really brilliant goal, and then a lot of people going on about we're set piece and then own goal merchants. It was really refreshing to see a beautiful goal, a goal of Odegaard of old in a way. And I think Declan Rice deserves a lot of credit for it, to be honest, because he's the one that wins the ball, kind of comes into midfield, even though he's right back, and he's immense, isn't he? I mean, he's unbelievable. I think he's there's an argument that he's our player of the season at this point. He might be the player of the season in the league at this point, and I hope it continues. But he was brilliant there, and it's funny because Saka's had all these brilliant crosses and never got assists all season for him. They've deflected and whatnot, and he lays a 5-yard ball back, and Odegaard does what he's supposed to do with it, and that's his assist. But it's funny how football works. But it's a great finish from Odegaard, and it's something we need to see more from him, isn't it?
We're trying to find solutions to Gyökeres, and Odegaard's is so much more simpler. Just hit the damn ball in the net, mate, because you're so capable. Again, another example of it. We see them every now and again where he has the ball, he's got a bit of space, fair enough, and he's got a bit of time so that it allows him to set his body right and his body shape right. Brilliantly taken, by the way. Fantastic finish. But if you look at it, again, not overly powerful, just placement. And he can do that so well. I don't think there's any other guy in our team that can do that as well as he can. When he's got that ability to be able to know, I'm literally passing the ball into the net, it's going to connect. But he doesn't do it enough. Why does he look for that extra pass every time? Why does he be a bit more selfish? Yeah. I'd like a little bit of what Saka's become into Odegaard now. And Odegaard should be thinking, do you know what? I can do that. I'm going to do it. I'm the captain. I'm going to lead by example here. And I'm going to smash that ball in the net and show them that, right, take your chances. Gyökeres, take your chances. Look, this is how you do it. But the build-up, I think it was Hincapi that put the Itachi that put the pressure on because it was from the goalkeeper it started from. It was their goalkeeper. And then Hitachi put the pressure on their player. And then that's how I think it then went to Declan. And he then managed to lay it off, I think, to Saka. Right. The rest was as you said, as straightforward as Saka had the foresight just to see Odegaard, bang, great goal. But yeah, a bit of credit should go to Hitachi as well, I think. But Rice, yeah, just quickly to say about Rice, my God, he is. I think you're right. I think I've been saying probably up till the last two games that Timber's been our player this season. I've changed my mind. I think it's Rice now. He's incredible to be able to just change as well his position and be as effective as he is. I think it's wonderful play by him. But yeah, Odegaard, come on, mate, look at that reel over and over again. Play it back 20,000 times. Don't count sheep at night. Watch that. Watch yourself, and you'll fall asleep to it, feeling happy. That is what you do. This is what we want from our captain, and honestly, that will help us. Yeah,
no, spot on there, and about him being more selfish. I think Eze's got that ability as well, but again, the Mount Odegaard, he's the most. I think he's the highest progressive passer in the league, right? So he's always in and around that position, providing balls into the final third. So there's so many. I always just wish, even when I watch that, I'm like, that's so repeatable. You just got to be out your feet and shoot. And he's got such a good shot on him, such good ability to disguise it as well. When he did it in that season, he scored 15. It's very similar to the one at Tottenham away or Newcastle away, where he drives through it. It's just almost effortless for him. But he's got to get those shots off. Got to be taking 3 or 4 of those a game for me, because he's always in that position. So it was really good to see that. I hope that gives him some confidence back, really, James, But I thought he was very good in this game. Even in the second half where things got tetchy, there was a couple of players that we really could rely upon to be stable. One was Rice, of course, and the other was Odegaard, which used to always be the case. But I did feel in this game, even the second half, he was really good at getting himself out of pockets and starting attacks when we weren't necessarily as dominant as we were in the first half. I really hope that continues. James, what's your thought on Odegaard? Because at the moment, Eze's not getting a look in, is he?
Yeah, no, that was easily Martin Odegaard's best game since he's come back. Easily. And, we always said, look, he's his captain. He made him captain. When a lot of people probably would have gone, hang on a second, you got way more experienced or maybe better players that could be captains than Martin Odegaard. And he went, nope, he's who I'm picking. And, like we said, there were signs of it even when he was on loan before he even joined Arsenal. I remember there was a video where they put the Zoom on, and there was a group of kids and they were all asking him questions. And I was just like, he's acting like he's the captain and he's only on loan. I was like, that's a big, and even when, and we always used to say it, Neil, whenever we'd lose, Aubameyang or whoever would never go to the camera. It'd always be Odegaard, or it'd have been Smith Rowe, or it'd have been Saka. And it's just like, why do you shirk response? When you win, Aubameyang, you're there, front and centre. Oh yeah, I'll lap this all. Let me have the. But when it was shit, oh no, I'll send Odegaard or one of the kids out to deal with it. And it used to piss me off. It used to really, really piss me off. But yeah, but no, he's come in there, done his job as he can, and how many weeks have we been saying it? We know this guy's got it in the locker. You know, he had a season that was on a record with Frank Lampard for non-penalty goals from a midfielder. You know, that's a record. So we know.
And his word.
We know this is in there. Exactly. We know this is in there. And yeah, Neil as well, again, great point. Hincapié in the build-up. You know, Brighton a few weeks ago, they were 2-0 up at Old Trafford against Man United. Then they start playing out the back and they lost 3-2. All of it come from them mucking around. And yeah, Hincapié sees a really bad ball from that goalkeeper. If you're going to play that ball like that against Arsenal, you've got to be so confident of not only the player receiving it, but in your own passing ability. And it's a shit pass. It's such a bad pass. But Hincapié's gone, nah, I'll smash you. I'll get through you. I'll pressure you a bit. And then, yeah, Rice, Odegaard and Saka Saka and Odegaard did the rest. Yeah, really, really good goal. And again, come at a good moment when we were having a bit of dominance.
Yeah, and you think we're going to push on from there. And we did. I mean, we created some great openings. I mean, I'm trying to think the ones that stick in my mind the most in the first half, Neil, but it was the one that was ping pong all around the box, which was the one that felt Gyökeres missed the air ball. I think Zubimendi ends up flicking it towards goal, and it could go in. But again, you know, some of our finishing at that point, Saka had a couple from the edge that went over the bar and things like that. In the first half, again, our finishing wasn't quite there. I just wonder what you think, because for me, I agree with you, Neil. I think Saka, I expect more from him in terms of being in front of goal. But at the same time, I'm almost like really reluctant to do anything but play him all the time in all the big games, because he's the only person we can rely upon over the course of the past years. I think Trossard, for all his good numbers, he does go through waves. Do you know what I mean? He always goes through hot and cold spells a little bit, Trossard, for me. Whereas Saka, that's where my frustration is. He's always demonstrated quite a lot of consistency in terms of output. Sure, with the penalties and things, but still he's demonstrated quite a lot of consistency. I think that's the person we should be looking to. He's our talisman, right? He's the biggest contract. I think deserving of it, but you've got to deliver with it. You've got to. Are you ever going to post up Salah-like numbers? No, probably not. But at the same time, I think you can probably do it by combining your goals and assists, because I think you'll provide a lot more than Salah will, necessarily. Because I think assist-wise, Saka's got the ability to provide endless amounts, really, and he's got the highest expected assists in the league so far this season. Yet I don't know what he's on, 1 or 2 or something like that, which is pathetic. But Neil, a collective frustration, really, because our goals numbers individually up there is pretty atrocious for a team that's top of the league, isn't it? And that is not sustainable, is it, really?
No, it's not. This is my worry. You know, we are. Look, people would say to me, "Why are you upset? We're winning. We're top of the league still. We're keeping City at bay by cushion of 2 points, but it's still 2 points. You only need 1 point to win a league." I get it. I'm the one who would be saying that to other people. I'm not kind of distancing myself from that. We are top of the league. We're doing well. We're undefeated in the Champions League. We're semi-finals of the Caribou Cup, for goodness sake. Any other time, if we'd said to ourselves by Christmas, is this position you'd have? We'd be like, of course we would. We'd be jumping up and down for joy if all three of us had said, wow, in the summer.
If you mentioned the injuries, you wouldn't believe it. Yeah. Sorry, you would never believe it. By the way.
Exactly. And then to exactly, Jack. And then to be able to negotiate all of that through, my goodness me, what other team goes through this injury? It's almost like a dinner party for us. We have an injury dinner party. Who's going to? Let's throw it in the hat. You know, when they used to go on those dating things and they'd like throw their car keys in and picked out. Yeah, who's going to be injured this time? And it's only key players allowed, by the way, just the key players. It's just like that. It's every bloody game, and it's not even in game anymore. It's like what James and you were saying. It's like in training or warm up. I mean, God, it's so frustrating. But we're still top. I don't know how, but we are. But the problem is, you sit through these games and you should be expecting, chances, at least make the goalkeeper work. I don't see enough of that anymore. If you're not going to score, Always make the goalkeeper work. The way Raya made that save, things like that. You know, make the goalkeeper work. And I don't think we trouble the goalkeeper enough, guys. It's not just about getting the shots on. And it's not good enough. We on paper, look at our forward lineup. There is some absolute quality there. So what's the answer? I don't know. Yeah, I kind of agree with you in the sense that you've got to persist with Saka, but I don't know. You know, we've got. Why did we bring in Madueke? Why did we bring in Eze? You know, we've got those kind of players as well to try. I mean, I won't see anything other than Saka against Villa. I don't expect to. I mean, he's going to start again. But can you change it a little bit with the other two? I don't know. Maybe, like you were talking, maybe Jesus could be there, not Gyökeres to start. But what's the answer?
Do you know what?
That's a great point, Neil, because like you said there, you've added £172 million worth of player, and we're still having the same issue. So again, it is not that, you know, it's just the severe lack of finishing. And it's like I put in the WhatsApp group, 33 goals from 18 games. And like I put, that's on course to finish the season with about, 76, below 80. And the last six of the seven titles, the last 6 of the 7 titles that have been won have been by the top, but have been by the top scoring team as well. Yeah. In the last 10 years, the lowest has been Leicester with 68 and City with 80. Yeah, it was a freak year. Yeah, and City with 83 in 21-22, I believe it was. So you're telling me now, for Arsenal, based on these metrics, and again, loads of people can go to me, James, if my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. But you look at data and it shows you a trend. So this is the trends, and this is what I'm trying to. So you're telling me in the next 20, Arsenal have got to score 50 plus goals. So that is a rate of nearly 3 a game with 20 to go, or what have you, 50, 55 plus 60 maybe even, to get to a level that's going to win us the title. Now, take away that in January we could do a madness. I know you don't think that, Jack, but we could. You know, there is money there to go and get somebody. However, just based on the players that are there at the moment, you know, what other team can spend £172 million in the summer, and yet we're still sat here on a podcast going, does he do this one? Does he do that one? 172 million. You should be going, he's a cert. Don't worry about him. And we're still trying to figure out, well, does he go there, or should he really be? Oh, yeah, but he's a bit better playing on that side than that side. Yet, you know, Arteta keeps playing Madueke on the left when he's so much better on the right. Why does he do that? You know, we should be having these debates. It should be, you know, what that player is going to give me at that point, at that time. He can do this that benefits that and everything else. We shouldn't be having questions. Okay, headaches for a manager, yes. But again, we are close to having, apart from, okay, you could go, oh, yeah, but Doman's been included in the squads now or what have you. But we are close to having every single attacking option fully fit. And yet we still don't know how to get the best out of every single one of them. That's a problem. Be it that we're top of the league, top of the Champions League, and in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, we still don't know what our most potent attacking strike force is, even after spending £172 million to improve it.
The headache should be about, God, which of these amazing players do I play to?
There you go, yeah.
Not I've got to figure this out because I don't know where the goal's coming from. You know, the whole point of the summer exercise with Berta has come in and you know, managed to help our club acquire all these great players. I think I'm going to say great players. I think they are. I think they've all got fantastic attributes, all different, but all different attributes, each and every one of them. So we have got such a variety to choose from, and the headache should be, oh God, but he scored a brace the other day, and the other one scored another 2 against Palace, and look how easily we won those games. Who do I pick? No, it's like, right, well, he's not doing this and he's not doing that and he's not doing this and he's just come back from injury. It's a completely different dilemma for Arteta. So I kind of sympathise with him in a way. But some of I do also still feel that some of it's on him as well, where some of these players should have been given opportunities when they had the chance to do so. Maybe when we were we were in control of games back earlier in the season. Maybe when a player should have been chosen for a game or got a few minutes where he didn't. So that's on him. But it is a difficult one for the manager when he doesn't even know himself. What the hell do I do here? Because no one is saying, it's me. I've got my hand up. I'm the one that will do it. I'm the one that is doing it. There you go. Look at what I've just done in the last 4 or 5 games. See, this is where I'm annoyed with Arteta. Madueke scores that brilliant goal in the Champions League and then he doesn't touch a ball for 2 games.
I think there was an opportunity here at 2-0. We'll get to it. But I think at 2-0, there was the opportunity to play. Like, I understood it at 1-0. In the last couple of games, I went, you don't trust him off the ball. I didn't even look at Madueke. I was like, you're not going to bring him on. But in this one, Eze Madueke, if you're worried about their off the ball stuff at 2-0, it's time for you can bring one of them on there and they can be an outlet for you. If you want to do your little thing where you sit off the ball a little bit and play 2-0 football at 2-0, which I'm okay with because, we've been doing it at 1-0, which has led us to a lot of problems, the draw against Sunderland, loss against Villa, etc. But he didn't do it. He brought on his reliable off the ball players again, like Martinelli and even Jesus to a degree. He trusts them off the ball as much as it is an on the ball thing, and I'm okay with that. But you've got to, where's that? You've got to keep them within the group. I don't think he's lost them as such because it's not been long enough. But with Eze, you can't punish him forever for something he did against Villa. I mean, we had a lot of players that have made mistakes, so you've got to. And in fairness to Eze, it was a bad mistake, but he hadn't played left wing for quite a long time because he'd been playing central in Odegaard's absence. So it was almost like he was relearning everything again, and that probably wasn't the right environment for him to do it against, one of the hardest games in the league away at Villa. It probably wasn't the right selection. I think we said as much at the time, but yeah, there was an opportunity there, and we'll get to that. And I agree with you.
That's it, Jack. Is you make again? It's a great point you make. Is that Eze makes that mistake, yeah. And he's barely seen time since. So he's that harsh on his attackers. But Calafiori leaves Eze to do that job that he never has done. He's never been a defensive, even when he was at Palace, he's never been a defensive type of player, even on that left-hand side. But yet, the same punishment or the same strictness or whatever you want to call it that he will apply to these attacking players for what they don't do out of possession or what they don't do off the ball. He doesn't have that strange strictness with Calafiori that completely negates the defensive position that then puts the player that isn't as defensive against Matty Cash in the first place. Yeah. As much as that was a shit mistake from Eze, I'm just as angry at Calafiori for leaving him completely isolated. I mean, you want to touch on the goal in this game? I don't blame Raya or Declan Rice. I blame the fact that there's 7 players in our box in one congested area trying to stop the person that makes the initial shot. What the fuck are 7 players? And you can count them. There's Trossard, Lewis Skelly, Nkapie, Gabriel, Saliba, and Marino. But they're all on one side. So it's no wonder that when they're all predominantly on that left-hand side trying to stop one man, that the guy gets he gets the rebound and the shot off when the goalkeeper's already committed to that side and Declan Rice just isn't quick enough to react. But I don't blame them two. Yeah. I blame the fact that there's 7 fucking players on one. It makes it so easy. It's like, well, if it falls here, there's not enough of you to come and close me down.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, we got away with it at the weekend, and we did. We basically restricted them to bugger all and produced a wonder save from Rare at the end, which was incredible, which we'll touch on. But at the same point, I'm like, you're making this a war of attrition, Mikel, and these players, and you're playing fine margins football every week. And I know people are going to say, oh, yeah, but we keep winning, and yet you're moaning. Because I'm like, it's not going to sustain.
No.
This isn't going to work.
Yeah. I mean, the only, on the flip, like to play devil's advocate, I don't think it's very sustainable to miss this amount of chances on a regular basis, even if you're children.
No,
I mean,
of course, yeah,
I'm
no.
watching it going, this has to turn at some point. It's like, surely, you know what I mean? Like, but you know, I'm not. But deep down, I'm going, surely you can't keep missing like this. It's just insane. Like, you know, so it's almost there. I think the one thing in my head that's always constantly not sustainable is just the revolving door of injuries. Is just that it has to, that, you know, for us to actually win something, that has to clean up, because it's not comparable to anyone that's ever won anything. You know, it's not even even now, even if all the injuries stop now, we're not in the vicinity of anybody that's gone on to win it. I mean, it's just, we are having injuries at a rate that is literally, you know, unprecedented. Just completely off the charts, I think, for a team that's there. You know, you see other teams there with us at the top, but they're not competing for a title. They're mid-table. You know what I mean? And they're there. Even Liverpool moaning about injuries. They ain't got any. They got like 30% of what our injuries are, you know, the course of the season. And they're going, oh, the reason we're not, if we didn't have a few injuries, we'd be right up there right now. And I was like, you don't know the half of it. You do not know the half of it. The most you had last season was a stubbed toe. Don't even get started with it, okay? I don't want any other teams talking to me about injuries. They have no idea. But before we get to their goal and stuff like that, there was the chance right at the end of the first half, Neil, that you felt should have been a red card. Not based off him being a last man, but based off it being basically a dangerous foul play, really. And I think you might have a case, actually. I mean, he absolutely, and it's good play by Gyökeres, to be fair. He gets the ball first and wins the ball. Obviously, he's going away from goal in the sense he's going to, but it's a dreadful challenge. And I think he maybe gets away with that because he's a goalkeeper or something, but it is really reckless.
I'm sorry. Paul Gyökeres, we've been sitting there saying he should be doing that. That's one time he does something right and he gets smashed to pieces or cut enough for it. Sod's law, innit? I'm sorry. I couldn't watch the games. It was 3 o'clock, so I mean, I only was listening to the media on the Arsenal website, so I was only listening to audio. But then I managed to find a clip on Twitter, as you know. Obviously, you get those guys that manage to get hold of it and then clip it and whatever else. And I thought, oh my God, I looked at it and I said, that is, sorry, how the hell is that not a red card? Was exactly my first thoughts. How is it not a red card? I don't care if you're a goalkeeper. I don't care about anything. In open play, if another player does that to another player, the chances are, I would say 90% plus, that's a red. So why is this different? For me, the intent is he's going for the player. I keep looking at it. I keep rewatching it. So eventually, when I got to see Match of the Day last night, I kept rewinding that moment as I thought, I want to see if I've got that wrong. And I think, no, I'm not being swayed by anything. For me, that's a red. That is a red card. He's gone for the player. He's done it with intent. He's gone to take that player out. And he could have harmed him. Luckily, Gyökeres got up from that. Could have been a short-term injury, or it could have even been something even far worse. And we've had it 3 times done to our players in the past. And I wasn't going to sit there and suffer a quartet because of nasty players on the opposite side. Because I think all of our 3 players, Ramsey, Eduardo and Diaby, have suffered from nasty individuals that I think they were deliberate to harm, went out to harm players, and they weren't even shown any remorse afterwards. And I'm sorry to say, but I think that goalkeeper went to get the player. For me, it's a red all day long. It was dangerous, it was reckless, and it was intent as well. I mean, I might be being harsh on him, but you weren't going for the ball, mate, from what I could see. So it's a red. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, Neil, if you look at the game last season, a player gets sent off for flicking a ball away, and they go, "Oh, but that's the rules. That's the rules. You can't flick the ball. He's flicked the ball, regardless. Even if you flicked it a centimetre or a yard, you flicked the ball," and he got sent off for it. And they're like, because that's the rules. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a rule here about violent conduct. And if a goalkeeper could just run out and go, bah, and smash into somebody like that. And like you said, Neil, there's no attempt to win the ball there. I'm like, we saw the guy was a big stiff idiot playing it out the back for our goal. So the guy's clearly a big stiff idiot. And he's just run out and gone, bah, and smashed into it. It's a red card. And I'm
massively
like,
reckless, yeah.
Again, I don't want to make this a podcast about referees because they don't fucking deserve it. It's just like you don't apply these, violent conduct, wherever it is by whoever it is. If I go do that out in the street by the co-op in about 10 minutes, I'm going to get arrested. So it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you're spot on, Neil. It's an easy red card. I don't care about, he's got a player next to him, so it doesn't make it last man or what have you. Last man's not coming into effect. Is this violent conduct or not? Yes, it is. Bang, red card.
Last man comes into it when it's a normal tackle, which is not a normal tackle, it's a foul. Sorry,
exactly.
Not a normal tackle, a foul. Yeah. But not violent foul, it's just foul. That's when last man comes into it.
And
this is, I might as well get my shotgun out and try and shoot him.
And again, Neil, it goes back to Bournemouth last year, where they go, oh, no, we're not judging it on foot races. Because we all knew Ben White was quicker than that player. But they went, no, we don't judge foot races. So I'm like, well, then it's a red then, isn't it? Because I could sit there and go, Gyökeres has got a clean run. This is what I've seen him do in Portugal. This is the one thing that he is dominant and strong at, like we mentioned at the start. I'm like, he beats that right back.
We talk about if you want to talk about last man, what about Saliba getting sent off for the halfway line?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But I'm like, you go, we're not judging foot races. I'm like, well, you clearly are. And if we were,
let's put the speeds up of Ben White again, shall we?
Yeah. I'm like, Gyökeres is quicker than that guy. So it's a red then, isn't it? Because Gyökeres would have carried on going and would have had the shot.
Yeah, I mean, the last man thing I slightly get in terms of the ball kind of where it is and going out. But again, like you said, they haven't held that true. The Saliba one was case in point ridiculous, I thought, just based on his position on the pitch. But I think it's very, very reckless. And I think, the players, in fairness, Odegaard went straight up to the ref. He was clearly, trying to explain to the ref, this is a pretty reckless challenge. I think you need to look at this. But they never really looked at it. They just booked him and sort of went on, which is frustrating. But
yeah, they straight away on the commentary that I watched, they were just like, no, going with the on-field decision. I'm like,
very quick. Yeah, very quick. In the set, we score really soon in the second half. The thing that doesn't get, I know it's an own goal, and we've scored 4 own goals in the last 4 games or whatever, and people are going to go on about that, which I find hilarious, by the way. I hope it keeps going on. But the ball, the lead up to that corner is fantastic. Probably our best move of the game. It's really fantastic move. Odegaard takes a shot from the edge, a little unlucky that gets blocked, I think. Probably could cut inside, but then, be on his right foot. I understand when he took the shot on. But it's a great move from right to left. Zubimendi, Marino, Trossard. It's a really good move. And that's kind of builds towards the goal. And I actually think Rice is a little unlucky here, because when you watch it from Rice's angle, it might even be going in. It's whipping at there's that amount of curve on the ball. You can't predict that. But obviously, when I watched it from his angle, I was like, I bet you he thinks that's going in. I bet you he does. And obviously, it gets the nick. But it's a great corner as well. It's a great corner. I did laugh a little bit when it was an own goal, I have to say. I did sort of just start cracking up laughing at this point. It's just funny. Someone tweeted something like, there's going to be an inquest to Arsenal have made own goals not fun anymore, or something like that, which I found quite funny. Brilliant. Declan Rice could have deserved that in a way. He deserved to have a goal or something towards a goal. He was involved in the first, involved in the second, man of the match. Brilliant. And at that point, like we said, James, I think that was the point to freshen things up a little bit in the attack, do something not a little bit different, but get those players on that have not had so many minutes, that want to play, that want to push for more, especially with a game coming Tuesday as well. You didn't need to neglect your off-the-ball work, but get maybe one of Eze or Madueke on and just know what they can provide you in terms of, going forward. And he didn't. He sort of went with... Gabriel was his first. Gabriel was his sub after 2-1, wasn't it? Sorry, his first sub was Martinelli or Jesus, I think. Which was fine again, but Martinelli, I often think he's bringing on for his off the ball work. And to be fair, Martinelli was very good when he came on. He was, but I just think you've got a lot of attackers, like you said, 172 million you've spent. You want to keep them in and part of the group. And now I don't know how long it's been since Eze Madueke's played, but it feels like it's been a couple of weeks since they've played in a Premier League game. So that's a bit of a concern. But James, it was a good goal. We're going to get sort of mulled with own goals, our second top goal scorer and all that, and that is a problem in itself. But there's something to be said for the move leading up to it, and sort of the still without all our key men in the box like Timber and Gabriel and Havertz and all these guys, we still seem to create a lot of problems within the box from set pieces.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, this is it. Is that and it's getting lost in the translation. Is people are just seeing own goal and they're equating to that being, oh, you jammy bastards, oh, you're lucky, this, that, and the others. It's not. We've had the best set piece delivery for what, nearly 3 seasons now, and they're getting better and better. So it's a case of, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. We're putting that ball in there and everything else. And do you know what? If that route is available in January, sign him, because he's a better header of the ball than what we've got at the moment. What a finish. I'm sorry, it was class. I know it's an own goal, but I'm like, what a bloody good header that is.
Lovely.
I'm like, I'm like, it's got direction, it's got pace, he got up well. I'm like, it's a bloody brilliant header. But yeah, I'm like, look, at the end of the day, would I prefer us to be scoring more goals from open play, considering the amount of chances we create? Of course. However, if it's going to win us games and get us points, who cares? Who cares? Really? I'm like, is it the best way? Not really, but it's working and it's effective. And again, like at Wolves, when, the one with Jesus at the end of the game and what have you, again, it's all about the delivery. The delivery is so pinpoint and class that it's creating these issues. Teams are panicking about us. At the start of the season, especially when Gabriel was in there and we were really dominant on them, whenever we got a corner away, you heard opposition fans silence. It was like us getting a penalty, getting a corner. So now that he's back, if we can bring more of that fear factor in, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, we just wait and see what happens. Jack, you're muted. You're muted, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Yeah, I'm with you again on that, James, in the sense that we all want to see pretty goals because we loved it. We've been spoilt rotten. Arsenal became synonymous for that kind of, look at the way we're playing, look at the way we're scoring beautiful, tailored goals and made with such grace and effectiveness and, total football, sexy football, whatever you want to call it. Of course we want to see that. Game in, game out. We love it. That's what gets us off the edge of our seat. We get up. That's another thing I wanted to say, which I forgot. I'm not getting that anymore. Even when I go to the games, there's not enough. There isn't a player out there really anymore that makes you get off your seat. When you're there going towards goal, it just doesn't happen anymore because you're kind of being brainwashed thinking nothing's going to come of it, which is really sad. But with this thing about own goals or set pieces or whatnot, I don't care if, as James says, we win the league scoring with another, 10 1-0s or 14 1-0s. How many games are left? I don't know. We're on, 18, 17? I can't remember how many games there are now. We're almost halfway through the season. Yeah, so, 21 games. We score 21 own goals, win 1-0 in each of them, win the league, bush, done, bomb. Fine. I'll take that because we've come from a place where we have not won the league in over 2 decades. We need to win this league. And I don't care if we're tainted with, but we won it really with own goals and set pieces. I don't care. We won the league. We're champions. That's what goes on record. So ideal, if we were a team that had been winning league after league or, one every 3 years, for example, or one every 3 seasons, then I'd be thinking, no, I want to, let's see some pretty football here. We have not won it for over 21 years, guys. We need to secure this, to build on it. And if that means we do it dirty or we do it not very pretty, I'll take it. Don't care. But the point is, that wasn't a bad... although it was an own goal, Rice made it. Whether it found an opposition defender's head or whether it found an Arsenal attacking head, that you cannot take away. He made that happen. It wasn't as if it's been a dumb mistake by one of their players and he just, pinged it in his net. Rice made that happen. And I think you're right, Jack. It was going in anyway. If you look at the trajectory of the ball, it's going in.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the goalkeeper probably gets a hand to it, but that's not the point on an own goal. It's just whether it's on target, isn't it? And I did feel a little bit for him because I thought there was so much whip on that ball. which, and then at that point, I mean, the one thing I would say for us is that even at 2-0, I didn't really feel like they were. I think their goal came out of the blue a little bit. To be honest, I don't really think, it was the level where, like Wolves, where you were like, what are we doing here? And then, you knew it was happening. With the Brighton one, I have to say that, they got the ball. Yeah, sure, they had a little bit of the ball, but they really hadn't created anything of note. And it was sort of a cross, I think, that deflected off Trossard and sort of fell into the box to Rutter, and he just sort of lays it back. But after that, like you said, James, 7 players in the box. I don't think Mourinho clubs himself in glory with his attempt and slide to block it when he could just keep on his feet and put his foot on the ball. Like, I genuinely, if you watch it, I don't really understand why you're sliding. Like, he's just shifted the ball to his right. You should be able to stay on your feet and not let that ball go through your legs by not sliding. Just stand up, put your whole body in front of it. But I think that's the issue I have with Mourinho at the 8. I've never been fully convinced with him from the start at the 8. Never really. My dad sort of made the argument. He went, well, he does it, for Spain, Jack, in the Euros. And I went, no, not really. If you watch the Euros, he wasn't starting a lot for Spain. And when he came on, it was often when they wanted to get a goal. So he was sort of coming on like we bring him on, as a second striker 8 kind of thing, that false 9-ish sort of player. And I think with that, he is actually really effective. You need a goal and you're penning the team back. He'd been my first sub. He really would be. Like Newcastle away, prime example, but perfect. But if you want to start him in Declan Rice's position in the 8, I think the argument for that as a signing, I don't think is very good, because I think he's so different from Rice. Rice is fast, he's got an engine, he runs all day. Mourinho's slow, he takes too many touches closer to our box. He falls down too much for someone that's 6'3", 6'4". He always falls down like he's going to get a foul. He never gets it. And I don't like it. I think that's a bit of an... That's why Declan Rice is even extra important, is that you're not really sure about his replacement. And I don't know what it says for midweek, especially if Timber's out, because that would really concern me up against an athletic side like Villa with Onana and etc. in there. James, I don't know what your thoughts were on
I did a podcast elsewhere like I normally do, and I got lambasted for saying I thought he had a bad game. Apparently,
he did. Yeah.
Apparently, I'm overreactionary and nasty towards players, and I was just like, hang on a sec here, mate. He's in the left 8 role, right? So that's basically a role that means you need to be a facilitator for that side, because at the moment you've got Declan Rice that's mainly playing in there. However, at times this season, you've had Eze in there, or you've had Waneri in there, or what have you. When you attempt 27 passes in a game, and you only complete 22 of them, and okay, you got 81% on your accuracy and what have you. How many of them were penetrative? Apparently he made one key pass that led to a shot, and I believe it's the one that you said that might have been the Odegaard one that they got the corner from. Yeah,
he plays it to Trossard, then to Odegaard, so maybe that counts. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, other than that, that side of his game, no. Like, if 41 touches and everything else like that, and he lost nearly was in double digits for losing possession. But then if I flip that and I go on the fact that he makes 1 interception, he makes 2 clearances, and he recovers the ball 4 times, great. But you're playing number 8, mate. I don't, Neil, we had this discussion, didn't we, ages and ages ago when you and Mike come on my show. I never watched Robert Pires or Lundberg or Mark Overmars or Ray Parlour going, God, bloody hell, didn't he make some tackles today? When you're in that kind of... I know that might be the role that Arteta wants him for, and that's why he got the full 90 minutes, because he trusts him. If there is, like you said, if there's going to be an aerial bombardment from the other side, then yeah, he's good at getting that initial ball away, and he is very good at winning the ball high up and what have you. But I need to see more attacking. I need to see more than one key pass from an 8 in a game.
Yeah.
Odegaard has been put in The Hague for less than what Mourinho's been doing in this game. So I'm sorry if I'm going to apply the same standard that people have absolutely bollocked Odegaard for. I'm going to apply that to Mourinho, and don't give me that they're not the same players and what have you. No, if you're in this side and you're in that position, you're held accountable for the exact same that everybody else is held accountable for. And like you said there, the one key bit of defending he had to do, he didn't.
No, and it's like, we're kind of ball watching after.
And I'm not sat here saying he's shit and get rid of him and everything. I'm just saying he did have a good game there.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm with you. He is better as an auxiliary striking option. Yeah. Or if you're going to flood the box, because
be a second striker.
I'll say it now. Look at his movement is better than the guy that we have got playing at centre forward for us. Yeah. Way better.
He's the best finisher.
Way better. Yeah. And if it's coming at you first time and you got to do something on the snap, I trust him more than any of them. I trust him more than Havertz. I trust him more than Jesus. I trust him more than Gyökeres. If it's a first time that ball's coming at you quick and I've got to bang it or I've got to smash it with my feet, I'm backing him.
He's the best in the club.
Without doubt. But that's why he's perfect for that situation. You're 1-0 down. And obviously, if we're 1-0 down, we're going to be penning teams back, hopefully, like we were with Newcastle. He is the perfect sub. I think he might be one of the best subs in the league in that sense. Like this, but what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up whipping tons of balls into the box, and he has really good box presence. He really does, and like you said, one touch finishing in the box. He's the only one I would want it fall to, head or foot. I mean, he's really good at it. That header from Newcastle, no one else scores that for us. No one. It's an incredible header. The ball is nothing without him there. It's just, and he does that quite. Brentford at home, Bosch, one touch header. He does it so much. There is a lot of good factors with him, but what he was actually bought for, I don't think I'm convinced at all. That's why I'm very curious to see if there's ever a point. I'm noticing how Calafiori, Hincapié and Lewis Skelly, they all have this sort of bet to see if anyone's going to be fit at the same time. I'm see what you're doing, boys. You can't all be fit at the same time because that'd be Christmas, wouldn't it? But if they ever are, I'd love to see sort of Lewis Skelly play a little bit in that role, because for me, he has a lot of Rice, like on the ball attributes, at least running with the ball. If you see someone driving through the midfield, the only two players I can think of doing that is Rice and Lewis Skelly, to be honest. Lewis Skelly, he literally, some of his best comp bits are literally him driving from left back through midfields into the box, Like, he has a lot of ability to do that, and he's not even playing in midfield. So I think he would, but I don't. Again, we're never going to see it because we'd have to actually not have injuries on a daily basis.
And I actually think he's been told not to do that so much this season, because last season he had free rein and he was doing that. And I thought, wow, this guy can move. But if you notice now, when I've been watching him, he almost like does it and then he stops before the halfway line. He's not as free flowing. He hasn't had much opportunity, to be fair, and he's not the same player as last season. But when he has had chances, I don't see him going as forward as he used to. And I'm wondering whether that's an Arteta thing, saying, no, you have to stay in your position. I really think that might be it, because otherwise he'd be doing that. I mean, he was so enterprising last season. It was unbelievable. I thought he was one of our best players. We were lauding on him. We were thinking, my God, wow, what a player. And we were all saying he's got to eventually evolve into the midfield, because that's exactly what he can do. I'm with you on that, Jack. I hope he does. Yeah. I'd rather see it sooner rather than later, to be fair. But we've got the injury.
Neil, he was doing it away at Real Madrid. They literally, after that game, there was Real Madrid fan, who is Lewis Skelly? There was points away at Real Madrid. If you get to go back and watch the extended highlights, he was absolutely taking the mickey out of them. Honestly, Jude Bellingham, this player, that's why I always go back to it. John's like, I told you Calafiori would be the starter. And I went, this player, there's something in Lewis Skelly that you cannot lose it. This player's a legit player. He's going to find his spot somewhere for sure. But it's interesting, like you said, Neil, at 2-1, when that goal, he brings Gabriel on, and he brings Gabriel on because he doesn't want Lewis Skelly at left back at 2-1. I think because he moves Hincapié out to left back, and he doesn't want Lewis Skelly at 1-on-1, and that's frustrating in a sense because in the Champions League last season he was coming up against whoever Real Madrid had out there in Rodrigo and Dembele, and he was doing really well, But again, like you said, he's not been the same player. Then I kind of agree with that decision. I think Nketiah is better defensively. I think he's been very good actually since he's come into the team. I think there's been some criticisms for Nketiah, mainly based off a couple of goals that we conceded, against Villa and possibly Wolves, where I think he was certainly harshly treated for the Wolves one. I'm not sure there's a lot he could have done. Villa one, sure, yeah, he made an error, but I think overall he's been quite good in Nketiah, and I think he was one of our better players in this game as well. I thought he was very good.
I gave him my man of the match.
There you go. There you go.
I thought he was class.
Yeah, he was very good going forward when he was from left back as well. When he got switched to left back, he did a couple of things where he was fantastic.
Jackie overlaps.
Yeah.
He's the only one that I've seen when he plays left back, because like you said there, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori go towards the centre. Yeah. He will make that outside run. There were a few that he was creating space for others in the box because they were going, oh, hang on a sec, he's dragging me out over there, he's dragging me wide. And I'm like, if Calafiori isn't fit for Tuesday, I know it's still Sunday for you, but for Tuesday, tomorrow for us, for me and Neil, I'm sticking Nketiah at left back still.
I think he will as well, Neil.
I love Lewis-Skelly. Don't get me wrong, I love Lewis-Skelly, but I think play Nketiah against Villa again, because as well as how well he is there as well, I think there's motivation because he's pissed off that it was his mistake against Villa. I think he'll be wanting to rectify that.
Yeah, hopefully. I think he will start him because obviously, I mean, logic tells me he felt something in the warm. You're not going to be fit in 3 days, so it will be.
You know what Calafiori's? If Calafiori feels anything, it's a fortnight before we see him again.
Right, exactly. And I'm just rewatching the Minte shot.
Sorry, it's a matter of days, not a fortnight. Sorry, it's a matter of days.
Yeah, see, again, sorry to just flick off, but again, the Minte chance, which is unbelievable by Ray. I mean, we could spend a whole podcast just talking about it. But again, Marino doesn't really cover himself in glory there. I mean, the guy who lays it off to Minte has flicked it through Marino's legs. It's just not great from him off the ball for me. But I don't feel very comfortable when Marino is very close to our box unless it's like corners, because aerially he's really good. But in and around it, I don't think he's agile enough. I don't think he's agile enough. I think things go past him, and he divers on the ball a little bit. But what a save by! It's one of those, like we said offline with Raya, where you almost look away because you think the net's going to ripple, and you just don't want to see that, especially at 2-1 and go, if it goes to 2-2, and you don't, and to see it somehow fly over the top of the bar because of his touch was incredible. And I don't think Ray gets enough credit. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the league. I mean, what people look at is, he's got the best defence in front of him, this, that and the other. But look how many back fours we had this season, James. How many different centre-back partnerships we've had this season.
I believe in the league it's 11, but then we've also had 4 or 5 in other comps. So it's about 4. I couldn't get proper data on it. No one could give me a definitive. Some said it was 14, some said that it was 15 or 16. But from the league alone, it's 11 different back fours that he's had to play with. Well, 11 different combinations of back four.
Unbelievable. So there you go. You see, I mean, that emphasises his importance with that amount of disruption in front of him. But what a save, James. I mean, I think it's his save of the season. I mean, last season, I remember that one from Villa, where he hits the bar and he dives back to save Watkins' header. I mean, that was unbelievable as well. But this one's right up there.
Or if you remember, the Shah day for Brentford, when he headed it and it was right, they had the corner and it was a bloody good corner and he leant back and punched that one over. I thought, that one's going to take some beating this season, and then he just goes and does this. But this the guy's class. I mean, bless Anthony, he's either got to put the Odegaard celebration as the thumbnail or this save as the thumb. He can use either or, can't he? when he eventually gets it uploaded, because either or are good enough. But yeah, I mean, what a save! It's amazing, and we don't need to wax lyrical anymore. Well, I don't, certainly, about David Raya. I saw it when he was at Brentford, and I was so happy when we finally got him, because for me, as much as Ramsdale did prove me wrong, that's the only summer signing that we've made that I've ever gone, I've got question marks over that. And he in the end, he did prove me wrong a bit, but then he's been proved more wrong. with David Raya coming in, and we all said it at the time. This isn't a goalkeeper that's coming in to be second fiddle. This is like he's a saviour. This is the goalkeeper we've always wanted, or I've always wanted. And brilliant. I'll let Neil do a bit of Raya wax lyrical in, because I can see it in his eyes that he wants to.
Yeah.
He wants to say something
doesn't
about
get
it.
enough credit, Neil. I don't think from the
he
general
doesn't.
population.
Right, you just said there, Jack, that best goalkeeper in the Prem. Oh yeah, 100%. I'd say he's probably top 3 in the world. I mean, you guys look at. I don't, me. I'm narrow-minded. I just look at Arsenal players. I have no idea, but I know for a fact that it would take something very special for another goalkeeper to be doing more than what he is, because, like you just said, it's not just about his own individual talent. It's the fact that he's accommodating different players in front of him every week, or literally every game. He plays sometimes 3 times a week. So to be able to have that ability, it's insane. When, the first part of the season where we've only conceded, 3 goals in 14 or 15 games, it's great knowing that the defence is so solid, but then you've got a world-class goalkeeper behind that. So it's so difficult for the players. But the most important thing about all of this, the save is just, oh my God, it's ridiculous. I thought there was something, when I looked at I had to find clips. So I found one on Twitter, or X, whatever you call it now. And I thought there's something wrong with the picture, because I thought that was in. I thought, what? What's going on here? It's that good. It's that good. And he doesn't get enough credit. I mean, what about those double saves he made? Was it last season or the season before? Double saves. His ability to be able to do something and then twist his body and contort it, almost change shape and be able to save again off the rebound or whatever it is just immense. He doesn't get credit. But the most important thing about all of this is how many times have you said it over the years, over the decades, that if you've got a world-class goalkeeper, that puts you in good stead to win the title, because they can win you 12 to 15 points. He's already done that. He's already done that in some of the games. He saved us 2 points against Brighton. Yeah. It's absolutely clear cut, because the way they managed to build up for that goal was identical to the one they did score.
On the right again, yeah. Exactly
the same build-up. And you're right, up to that point, you didn't expect anything coming from them. So it wasn't a Wolves situation. So for them to do it twice within the space of, 3 or 4 minutes, it's down to Raya that we got the 3 points, as far as I'm concerned.
And he does a really
and his concentration, Jack, goes really under the radar, like you said. I mean, we this is why Ramsdale isn't here anymore. He openly admitted he doesn't, he struggles to concentrate. But
a bird distracted him in a game.
There you go. If Ramsdale was getting peppered, he was on it and everything. We've got such a watertight defence that we're not necessarily being peppered, but when he is called upon, look at what he does when he needs to.
Yeah, that's.
What against Everton? I said it on here, didn't I? The amount of times that he just high claims, gets his hands up, brings it in, distributes
pressure.
Yeah, because he's not a tall guy. No. But I think that helps him, like you said there, Neil, in having the cat-like reflex. I think the fact that he is smaller makes him more agile to get the leaping ability for the guy, considering his stature, is insane.
Yeah,
it's just insane. But
incredible
easily,
box presence. Yeah,
easily the best goalkeeper that we've had since Jens for me.
Oh, 100%.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Do you remember when I was really upset about Ramsdale? Do you remember? I was like, oh my God, it's just the way he's been treated. Ray's just come in and taken over his position. If I now could go back to that Neil doing those podcasts, 3-4 years ago, I'd say, just be patient, mate. Yeah. You just watch how good this guy is going to be. And I've got no faults with this goalkeeper. I think he's amazing. We are actually blessed and lucky to have him.
He's like Iker Casillas in the sense that he's high, he's quite diminutive, but just incredible. What's amazing to me is that he's not Spain's number one goalkeeper. I just can't. It'd be different if Spain had like a world.
Good.
Yeah, it's great. But
I watched that Unai Simon, and I'm like, you ain't that guy.
It's just stature, isn't it? They've just looked at him and gone, "You're bigger, we'll put you in." I was like, "Do you watch these guys?" Like, I've got a couple of Spanish guys at work that I talked to, students that were on the soccer team, and I'm like, why do you not recognise David Raya? And they're like, what? And I was like, do you have any idea how good he is? And they're kind of like blasé with it, oblivious to it almost. And or they see Simon Moore because he plays for, I think, Bilbao, is it? And I was like, oh, we played Bilbao. I mean, he probably should have saved both the goals we scored. Honestly, he's no way near the level of Raya. Not a chance. Like, not a chance. But yeah, great for us. I mean, that's perfect. But it's just really odd that they don't see it. I mean, because I do think he is top level a goalkeeper, and he go, the way he sweeps up as well, his sweepering ability, and his ability on the ball is so underrated, I think. But after that, he's very, very professional. He's, well, not professional, he's clever. He goes down a couple of minutes, kind of wants to, that's the sort of 5-10 minutes in the game that was a little tetchy for us, and goes down with a little ankle issue, but then seems to come up and maybe it was tactical, maybe he was feeling something, but it seemed to be tactical. And after that, to be honest, I don't really recall them having much. I remember sort of in the last minute, there was a ball in the box, and I think Zubameni does really well to stop a cross coming in and stop them shooting it. He just comes back and just clears it, and otherwise it would have been a free shot from the penalty spot. But then we should score. Martinelli has a brilliant chance, doesn't he, from Saka's cross? He's got to keep that on target, get it on target, and you score. Saka's one, I'm going to mildly forgive him because I believe he is offside when I just rewatched it. I'm almost certain that gets given offside, but you've got to get your shot away before Dunk makes it. You can't let Lewis Dunk catch you up and make it back to make a slide-in challenge. It's Lewis Dunk. It's like Dan Burn making it back to you. He wouldn't make it back to me, Dan Burn. I mean, that's what I was annoyed with Saka there. I was like, you've got to get your shot off there. I don't know what you dithered on that. But I mean, in the end, we see it out, and I don't know if I wasn't in the stadium cheers or what at the end of the game, but you finished top of the league. I was, it wasn't quite as frustrated as, like the Wolves game and things like that, where I was just like, that's a dreadful performance. This wasn't. This was a good performance. It was a good performance. It was, it was just one of those ones that you just felt, why are we making it so difficult for ourselves again? And we've got to turn the tide here, right? Because now we've got Villa on Tuesday, and they're the biggest XG overperformers in the league. And we're not the biggest XG underperformers, but in recent weeks we are. And to be honest, and against Villa, there's been so many games against Villa and Unai Emery's Villa where we've left so much on the table. I mean, there's so many at home, away, last season 2-2 was it? I mean, where they have a real knack for staying in games. I'm sure you watched the Chelsea game where Chelsea should have been out of sight at half time, and then suddenly 2 chances to Villa and it's game over and you're watching it going. And they're on an incredible run. So we have obviously Calafiori out, possibly Timber out. They have a few issues as well, James. They have Kamara suspended, where Onana will come in, I assume, and maybe that would have happened anyway, so I don't know if that weakens them too much. Then they have Cash suspended, and I still haven't quite worked out what they do there. I presume they do what Mike said and maybe play like what you said, I think, James, as well, Konza or Garcia or something like that. But I don't know exactly how that readjusts their back four. But they obviously have a few issues as well because of suspensions, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. Let's put it at that. I'm like they're 11 unbeaten. One of that 11 is us. So, we've just got to win. By hook or by crook, we just got to bloody beat them. We just have to.
Just win. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think we can predict anything with lineups because we just don't know who's going to be fit, and his presser's not going to allude to any of that. One thing I would say on the Brighton game is there was a point in the box where Jesus gets a proper shove on him, and that is a foul anywhere else but in the box, or Cedric against Son at White Hart Lane, because which was half of that, by the way, because he literally just barges him and then lets the ball go out, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, it's not, but it is a foul. It's a foul, but it's never getting given in the box. But it's frustrating that it isn't, because you look at it and you're like, that shouldn't be allowed, really. And that was a bit frustrating. But predictions, Neil, you go in midweek possibly. Arsenal, Aston Villa Tuesday. What's your predictions and your goal scorers, hopefully?
Yeah, I'm going. I decided last night. Oh God, I've made the right decision. I think it's a really tough game. I'm dreading it. I don't know. I'm normally so positive, but I am dreading it. I think they are playing like champions. The Chelsea game was evident. Everyone talks about, the way we were initially, that we're seeing games through and we're doing, and we were. Don't get me wrong, we were, and we still are. But I think Villa equally. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Man City is just 2 points behind us. They're on our heels." Well, so is Aston Villa. got to give credit to Unai Emery, got to give him a shout out. He's doing tremendously well.
Yeah.
And I never disliked him at Arsenal. And I think he was treated a little bit harshly, but I feel that he's probably found his spot now. And credit to him. As long as it doesn't, overturn what we're trying to do. I wish him luck. I don't mind the man. The club's a different matter, but I don't mind the man. But they've got some tremendous players. We have got a real difficult task. I don't care if it's at home. And I think, Jesus, I'm going to go 1-0, which is so unusual for me. I think it's going to be really tough. I mean, I know I'm not saying that because they've got some potent attackers. But I hope that we can somehow keep a clean sheet. But we're not going to get many chances. I think it's 1-0. I hope I'm wrong, but I'll go with a 1-0 win. And I'll say, oh gosh, I'm going to call a defender. Do you know what? I'm going to say Gabriel. He's back. I'm going to say Gabriel 1-0 set piece.
All right, take that all day. James, what about you?
Well, I was going to say 2-1 Gabriel from a set piece. So just to be different from Neil, I will stick with my 2-1 and I will go with own goal. No. I'll back a player. I'll go 2-1 and I will say Trossard. I'll go for Trossard to do it again against Villa. But yeah, it sounds really stupid, but we have to score first. If we go down, I can't see us winning. I can see us drawing it again, potentially, but I can't see us clawing it back to win it. So I think if we have momentum and you make Emery have to come out, that's when you might be able to catch him. Because if you look at even Villa away, Jack, when we were 2-1 up, we were still the much better side. And we had that Saka one.
Which this season or last...
This season, when we played them, when we got it to 1-1, sorry.
1-1,
Yeah. Before they made it 2-1, sorry, my fault. We were a much better team. We had all the chances to win until they got that one right near the end, and they had a little bit of dominance that swung back to them towards the end, and then they got their goal. But we had the one where Gyökeres didn't run for Declan Rice when he crossed it in. We had the Saka one that he should have hit high and whatever, but he hit low. And I can't remember who the other person was that should have scored as well. But we had plenty of chances to bury that game there and then.
We've had a lot of games like that against Villa.
Yeah.
And then away.
Yeah. Like you said, can't leave anything on the table. If there's one time where you've got to drill into them, please finish your fucking dinner. It's this for Tuesday. It really is.
You think he'll go, obviously he said 2-1, Trossard, do you think he'll go with the same front three that he did in this one? You do?
Yes. Yeah. If Gyökeres does not have any form of impact in this game, we've then got, is it Bournemouth away, the cup game, and then Liverpool, I believe? Yeah. Or is it Liverpool first, then the cup game? I can't remember. I can't remember how the fixtures lie. But I'm like, if he doesn't have a big impact for this one, then I could see him easily. Oh yeah. So it's Bournemouth, Liverpool, then the cup. I could see him potentially not playing against Bournemouth or Liverpool if Kai is back fit. I don't think he'll replace him at the moment with Jesus, considering he's coming back off that ACL and everything. Yeah. But if Kai Havertz is back, and if he brings Kai Havertz on at like a 60, 65 minutes in a game, and he scores, he'll stick with Kai Havertz after that. Yeah. If Gyökeres doesn't produce, if Kai Havertz comes back and he nabs a goal, he'll play Havertz. He'll start Havertz. Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure, but I don't want it to seem like we're singling focus just solely on Gyökeres. It's pressure for all of them. Like I said, collectively at the moment, they are all underperforming in terms of goals. Because like we said, we've said all this about Gyökeres at the start of the show, and he's still our top scorer this season out of all of them. He's still the top scorer for our team. Whether you want to say it was penalties or not, he's still the one that's produced the most goals. So they've all got to step up, mate. Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's weird because if he does change it, it's almost like you could see him changing the left wing as well. You could see if he changes Jesus, he'd play Martinelli as well, because their link up is a little different, and they've also got the issues that we talked about at right back, and you may look at that thinking, is Martinelli sort of player to take advantage of it? I don't know, but so it's almost like if he changes one, he'll change two, I think, but I have no idea if he'll do it. I expect you're probably right. I think that's probably the most likely prediction, but it's weird, isn't it? You genuinely wouldn't be shocked if it was, like I said, the two changes up there, which is quite something.
I just hopefully Timber's back. I think he will be. I think he will be, because the majority of people said that it was load. It wasn't that injury. I know he did get that injury, but everybody was saying it was a load thing, not
My
the injury
thing with
thing.
that,
So
the only sort of the suspicion worry I have with that is, why is he not in the squad then? Because it's not like we had a plethora of defenders sitting on the bench. We had, if we lost Rice, or if we had we would need a right back. So if he was 50-50. You just put him on the bench in case of an emergency. My worry was he wasn't even in the squad, and I'm like, that ain't good. And the last time I saw someone walking around the hotel pre-game and then not being in the squad, it was Saliba, and he was out for a month. So I was like, I don't know. So we've got real issues there, because then it's not just moving Rice, it's moving Rice out of midfield, and that means Marino, and we've already discussed our worries there. So then it becomes a really difficult one. I'll go 2-1 Arsenal as well. I think I'm copying James there, but I'll take either, to be honest. I'll go 2-1 Arsenal, Saka. Yeah, I'll go 2-1 Arsenal, Saka. Take all of our results there, all of our predictions. Up the Arsenal. We're at Purely Arsenal FP on Twitter, at Purely Arsenal on YouTube as well. Please subscribe there. That would really help us out. And we'll be back after the Villa game, hopefully, or maybe not, and then it might be the Bournemouth game, but we'll see. We'll see where we're at. So let's see. But we'll predict the Villa one for now. Don't think any of us mentally can go beyond that at this stage. So we'll leave it there. But James, Neil, thank you so much. Up the Arsenal. Fingers crossed for Tuesday. Bring us luck, Neil.